gebraucht. Geht das gut? Ja. Ich muss es besser, sonst vergesse ich. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanajari Jamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter Madhyam Leela, chapter 23, Life's Ultimate Goal. Text 57. Rudha, Adhirudha, Bhava, Kevala, Madhure, Mahishi, Ganera, Rudha, Adhirudha, Gopika Nikare. Rudha Adhirudha Bhava Kevala Madhure. Mahishi Ganera Rudha Adhirudha Gopika Nikare. Rudha Adhirudha Bhava Kevala Madhure. Mahishi Ganera Rudha Adhirudha Gopika Nikare. Mahishi Ganera Rudha Adhirudha Bhava Kevala Madhure. Mahishi Ganera Rudha Adhirudha Gopika Nikare. Mahishi Ganera Rudha Adhirudha Gopika Nikare.
Rudha Adhirudha Bhava Kevala Madhure.
Rudha Adhirudha Bhava Kevala Madhure.
Mahishi Ganera Rudha Adhirudha Gopika Nikare.
Mahishi Ganera Rudha Adhirudha Gopika Nikare. Anyone else of the Prabhus?
Rudha Adhirudha Bhava Kevala Madhure.
Rudha Adhirudha Bhava Kevala Madhure.
Mahishi Ganera Rudha Adhirudha Gopika Nikare.
Mahishi Ganera Rudha Adhirudha Gopika Nikare.
Rudha Adhirudha Bhava Kevala Madhure.
Rudha Adhirudha Bhava Kevala Madhure.
Mahishi Ganera Rudha Adhirudha Gopika Nikare.
Mahishi Ganera Rudha Adhirudha Gopika Nikare. Mataji's.
Rudha Adhirudha Bhava Kevala Madhure.
Rudha Adhirudha Bhava Kevala Madhure.
Mahishi Ganera Rudha Adhirudha Gopika Nikare.
Mahishi Ganera Rudha Adhirudha Gopika Nikare.
Rudha Adhirudha Bhava Kevala Madhure.
Rudha Adhirudha Bhava Kevala Madhure.
Mahishis Ganera Rudha Adhirudha Gopika Nikare.
Mahishi Ganera Rudha Adhirudha Gopika Nikare. Rudha, advanced. Adhirudha, highly advanced. Bhava, ecstasy. And Kevala, only. Madhuri, in the transcendental mellow of conjugal love. Mahishi Ganera, of the queens of Dwaraka. Rudha, advanced. Adhirudha, highly advanced. Gopika Nikare, among the gopis. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Only in the conjugal mellow are the two ecstatic symptoms called Rudha, advanced, and Aniruddha, highly advanced. The advanced ecstasy are found among the queens of Dwaraka, and the highly advanced ecstasies are found among the gopis. Please repeat after me. Only in the conjugal mellow are there two ecstatic symptoms called Rudha, advanced, and Adiruddha, highly advanced. The advanced ecstasies are found among the queens of Dwaraka, and the highly advanced ecstasies are found among the gopis. Purport. The Adiruddha ecstasies are explained in the Ujjvala Nilami Sthai Bhava Parikrama Prakarana 170. Rudoktevyo anubhavevya kam apyapta nishishtanam yatra anubhava drishyante so adiruddho nigayate. The very sweet attraction of conjugal love increases through affection, counter-love, love, attachment, sub-attachment, ecstasy, and highly advanced ecstasy, Mahabhav. The platform of Mahabhav includes Rudha and Adiruddha. These platforms are possibly only in conjugal love. Advanced ecstasy is found in Dwaraka, whereas highly advanced ecstasy is found among the gopis. Rudha Adiruddha Bhava Kevala Madhure Mahishi Ganera Rudha Adiruddha Gopika Nikare. Only in the conjugal mellow are there two ecstatic symptoms called Rudha, advanced, and Adiruddha, highly advanced. The advanced ecstasy are found among the queens of Dwaraka, and the highly advanced ecstasies are found among the gopis. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gnanjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagriyatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Varijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutte Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpaduriyasya Kripa Sindhu Yevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we're discussing today a very highly elevated topic. topic. The whole chapter is entitled Life's Ultimate Goal. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu defined it as Prema Pumarta Mohan. The life's ultimate goal is the love of Godhead. So, there has been 10 subject matters described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Atra sarga visargascha stanam poshana utsaya manvantara isha anukata nirodha mukti ashraya. Meaning that sarga visarga, that primary creation, secondary creation, Sthanam, the different planetary system, Poshanam, the protection of the Lord, Uttaya is the drive for activity, Manvantara, the different reigns of the Manus, Isha Anukata, description of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nirodho means the Prabhupada uses two expressions for that. And the main one is the return of the spirit soul home back to Godhead, or the resolution of the creation. Then muktir, liberation, and ashraya, the ultimate shelter, the summum bonum, as Srila Prabhupada described. And it has been said that everything is actually focused on the understanding of the summum bonum. These different subject matters finally culminate in the understanding of the absolute truth, the summum bonum. And then, when the living entity understands it in full, then the love of Godhead will be the natural result out of this knowledge or realization. But then it has been further described. The love of Godhead also has different kind of features. In this chapter it's very nicely structured. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructing Sanatana Goswami, and he divides love of Godhead into 5 different mellows, starting with neutrality, then servitorship, friendship, parental love, and finally conjugal love. It also has been explained that as the differences between these different mellows is calculated or defined according to the intensity of the relationship of the individual soul with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here in the purport, Prabhupada describes it, the different characteristics which are found in the mellows, and here the last, the most confidential or the most intense mellow has been described, the mellow of conjugal love, which has different characteristics, starting with affection, counter love, love, attachment, sub-attachment, ecstasy, and highly advanced ecstasy, Mahabhav. And as we have heard in the previous verses, the definition has been given, like for neutrality, it has been described that there is the attraction for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which starts to develop, but in the comparison to the following or to the higher mellows, there is no variegatedness. So we can see that there is a gradual increase of characteristics, or you can say variegated characteristics, which follow one of another, and which are actually based on the intensity of the feeling, the emotion, which the living entity expresses or develops in his relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It many times also has been described that actually the mellow of neutrality is not really what a devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu aspires for. Because the mellow of neutrality doesn't really include activity, and devotional service is actually based on activity. So, in that way, bhakti or devotional service starts from the stage of servitorship. And this is the state of Vaikuntha. And there, the living entities are all focused on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipped as the Supreme Absolute. So this is what has been given in the Vedas. This is the common understanding, the perfection of the Vedas. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through his causeless mercy, he actually brought the living entities that special mood of the more refined, so to say, relationships of the living entity with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which are possible. Another name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Asama Urdhva, meaning that no one is equal to him or no one is superior to him. So that is the understanding of Vaikuntha. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the one without a second, meaning nobody is equal and nobody is superior to him. But now if we go further, when the living entities or the relationship of friends is actually there on an equal platform. The friendly exchanges are on equal platform. And the exchange or the mellow of parental is that the parents are superior to the child. and even more intense or more confidential is the conjugal mellow. So there we can see that it is a tattva in itself, or it is a more intense exchange between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the living entity. So this is a very high topic, a very lofty topic. The living entity, we are actually not really able to understand or grasp these kind of exchanges and mellows unless and until we're completely free from any kind of material contamination. We won't really be able to understand these kind of emotions or this state of living. Still, the example has been given once. Prabhupada has been asked that it is said that Srimad Bhagavatam has 12 cantos, and the most confidential topics has been delivered in the 10th canto. At the same time, it also has been said that unless one is completely pure, one shouldn't go beyond the first canto. In a similar way, also, the living entity, unless he's pure from any kind of material contamination, won't be able to understand the transcendental dealings of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it has been said that there is the high risk or chance that these intimate dealings are mistaken and understood on a material plane. So Prabhupada was asked, so then why we read Krishna Lila? And Prabhupada gave the example, it's like if you're suffering from diarrhea, you're not able to take any kind of solid foodstuff. Still, the medicine which is given to somebody who is suffering diarrhea is actually ghee. So ghee is the most pure food you can get, and it's quite heavy. And the understanding is, even not being able to digest or to retain the food, the substance which is given, still it is said by taking in ghee, small particles will be actually kept in the intestines. And these small particles are actually nourishing the body, and through that it slowly starts to regain its strength. And as the patient continues to partake of that foodstuff, he slowly will regain his strength and revive his health to the fullest extent. So in a similar way, like if the conditioned living entity which is not capable of understanding the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his very intimate dealings with his devotees, but simply by listening to it, the power of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord are actually that strong that they will, by constantly hearing them, they will purify the conditional state of the living entity. So in that way, it will have its effect, slowly but surely, and the living entity will, in due course of time, be able to understand these subject matters, to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to understand His relation, and finally also to act upon it. So, in this manner, we actually discussing these subject matters. But at present we may don't understand, but by discussing these subject matters, some things will stay, and these things actually will purify our consciousness and our existence. So here Prabhupada speaks, defines that there, even in the conjugal state, there are two divisions. Which are described as advanced ecstasy and highly advanced ecstasy. The conjugal mellow is divided into two, which is Swakya and Parakya. Swakya means like the conjugal mellow of a married couple, and Parakya is the relationship between two lovers. They're not actually married. So many times this point has been raised, that how come on the material plane the relationship between male and female, which is not based on marriage, is actually ethically or morally not accepted. But here we see that this relationship is considered to be the highest on the spiritual platform. So the understanding is that the spiritual realm has its own laws or its own understanding, which is fully dependent on the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And a very important point is also to be understood by the devotee that these relationships are not based on sexuality as such as we understand on the material plane. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, the definition has been given of love and lust. It has been said that Atmendriya Priti Vancha Taraboli Kam, that the desire for sense enjoyment is actually called lust, and Krishnendriya Priti Icha Dare Prem Nam, and that the desire or the activity which is based fully on the satisfaction of Krishna, that is called prem or love. So from there we can understand that all the different dealings or activities which are based on sense enjoyment are actually nothing else than different forms of lust. Only and exclusively when the activity is focused for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, then it is love. And Prabhupada points out that any kind of so-called welfare work, altruism or philanthropic, nationalism, or even abiding by moral laws, if they are focused on Atma, on the individual, it is just be considered to be a different phase of sense enjoyment. Prabhupada also says that what sense enjoyment actually means, and he defines it that actually sense enjoyment is forgetfulness of Krishna. Then, and also, if we go deeper in that and analyze what sense enjoyment actually means, our general understanding of the senses is that it's the body. The body has got 5 senses, but the mind is also the 6th sense, has been said. So, and mind, the activities of the mind are actually in that way also sense enjoyment, unless and until they're connected or they're directed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As it said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Vrityartam Yat Pratyeta Na Pratyeta Chatmani, that unless whatever is not connected to the Supreme Personality of Godhead has actually no value, no substance. And there we also can see that Atma means the self. Atma has different levels of understanding according to the consciousness. But from there we also can see that Atma means the self, the gross body, but Atma also means the mind. So in that way, sense enjoyment means body consciousness, and body consciousness not only means when the consciousness is in the gross body, but also in the subtle body, means in the mind, and even higher in the intelligence. As long and until that our consciousness, our focus in these kind of activities, be it physical, intellectual, or mental, as long as they are not focused on or connected to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is considered to be sense enjoyment. So we can see from there how lofty and how high this understanding is actually. And the more we hear about that, the more refined our consciousness and our understanding will become. Coming back to the point of morality, and there is a beautiful story or lila which deals with that point like in Golok Vrindavan, there is a sweet relationship between Krishna and Radharani. But as we all know, they're not married. Radharani is actually married to Abhimanyu. And Abhimanyu has a sister which is called Kutila, and a mother with the name of Chatila. And these two ladies are very much eager to actually check the relationship between Krishna and Radharani. They're always suspecting that there is something going on which is so-called immoral. So, one time, Krishna actually was together with Radharani, and they were in the house, in the room. Krishna used to sneak in whenever there was a chance. To be with Radharani. So at that time, Jatila was actually just coming by, and outside of the room she heard some voices coming from inside. So she was wondering, who is that? Because Abhimanyu was not in the house. So she went to the door and listened, and she could hear, there is some voices going on. So she said, wow, now I caught you. And she just opened the door, and there Radharani was with Krishna, and immediately Krishna jumped up from the bed and out of the window, and away was he. And she thought, wow. Anyway, but in the haste, Krishna forgot the flute on the bed. So Chatali thought, that's it. Now I caught you, and now I have the proof. So she went to the village and publicly announced that now we got the proof that Krishna has an immoral relationship with Radharani, and Radharani is so unchaste. So she called all the villagers and said, showing the flute, here is the proof that there is something immoral going on, and Krishna is meeting with Radharani secretly. So at that time also Purnamasi came and was asking what's going on, because by then Radharani was completely out of her mind. It was so embarrassing for her to be exposed or treated in public like that, and she cried bitterly. So Purnamasi came and asked what's going on. So she was told the situation. And then said, oh, that's it. But do you know that actually last night there was a rain of flutes? So everybody was astonished and said, yes, there was a rain of flute. So let's go and see in the room of Chatila. So they all went, and here there were 6 flutes on the bed of Chatila. So Chatila was very embarrassed. And then she said, oh wait, let's see how many flutes are in the room of Kutila. Kutila is her daughter. So they went to the room, and there were 12, 1,000. Then once again Chatila was defeated, and Kutila, and they felt very bad, but what can be done? So, still, Radharani felt very bad being exposed in such a cruel way publicly. And she thought, like, I should just give up my life. So Krishna naturally could understand. And he just played himself as being unconscious. So Yashoda Mai, when she saw Krishna was lying in the room, unconscious, not doing anything, she called everybody. She went to Nanda Maharaj and said, what's going on? Krishna is not giving any sign of life. So Nanda Maharaj was also getting very much worried, and he went outside and just by chance saw some Kaviraj, some doctor, because at that time they used to be easily identified according to the clothes they were wearing. So they called him and asked, are you Kaviraj, are you a doctor? And he said, yes. I can even bring dead to life. So they said, please come. Krishna is not responding. So he came there and he examined Krishna, and he was very thoughtful and said, yes, I can see there is a serious state of affairs. But there is one process which we can apply, and Krishna will become well. We actually have to bath Krishna in Jamuna water. So Yashoda and Nanda got very relieved and said, oh, that's easy, Jamuna is just next to us. Then Kaviraj said, yes, but it has to be brought in a bucket which has 100 holes and not one drop should spill. And then they asked the Kaviraj how it's possible, and he said, well, a chaste woman will be able to bring the bucket without spilling the water. So then different gopis tried, but each one putting the bucket in the Jamuna and taking it out, all the water just would go out. So naturally, Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj got more and more worried and said, but what to do? So the Kaviraj said, let me see, I will make some calculation. So he very seriously went down, made some calculations, then came out, oh, I can see there are 2 ladies. They're very chaste. And it's Chatila and Kutila. So, naturally, Yashoda Mai immediately went to them and asked them and said, look, the situation is like that, Krishna is unconscious. But Kaviraj, doctor says that if a chaste lady carries a bucket with 100 holes in it, with Yamuna water to him, and he is bathed, then he will regain his strength. And he identified you as being that person. So Jatavan actually, and Kutila got very proud, yes. Now they understood who we really are. And they straight went down and said, yes, we will do that. And they went down, pulled the bucket in the Jamuna, took it out, and as soon as they took out, all the water came out. So they naturally felt very embarrassed and just left the whole scene. Yashoda Mai went again very desperately, in anxiety to Kaviraj and said, "What's this? You said that the calculation said that these two can save Krishna." He said, "Well, maybe I made a mistake, but I will see again." And then he made some other calculation, some new calculation, and he said, "Oh, now I found one." And he said that there is one Rishabhanu Nandini, she will be able. So when Jatilankutala heard that, said, we were just laughing and said, she is the most devotee, how come? Still, Yashoda Mataji personally went to Radharani and requested her. She was still in tears and devastated. But Yashoda went to her and requested her and said that, "Look, Kaviraj told you should come." But she was reluctant. She said, "I was already, exposed in front of everyone, so why should I?" And she said, no. The Kaviraj actually calculated and he was 100% sure that you will do, so please come. So then, very reluctantly, Radharani decided, okay, if it's for the sake of Krishna, I will do. So she went with the bucket with 100 holes and dipped it in the Jamuna, took it out, and not a drop was spilled. So she brought it to Krishna, and Krishna was bathed with it, and he regained his strength. As soon as the water touched Krishna, he actually opened his eyes, and everybody was in ecstasy, and he was just asking what happened. So, this is a very nice story, also very instructive, showing us that the question of chastity on the spiritual plane is actually how purely we are devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the only characteristics and qualification. Nothing else, no other consideration is of any value. On this material plane, people are judged according to how much money they have, how educated they are, how beautiful they are, how expert they are in performing different activities. But this, on the spiritual plane, this is of no much value at all. There, the only qualification or characteristics which is counting is actually how intensely the devotee wants to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It also has been described in Srimad Bhagavatam that who is the foremost devotee, and it has been identified that it is Radharani. The name of Radharani itself is not mentioned, but there is one sloka. During the rasa dance, at one time, actually, Krishna suddenly disappeared. And all the gopis were naturally flabbergasted. What happened? And they were in full ecstasy, dancing in the companion with Krishna, and suddenly Krishna disappeared. So at that time, and they actually could understand, and they spoke that Anaya Aradite Nunam Bhagavan Hari Ishvara. He said that there was one specific gopi who actually worshipped, served the Supreme Personality of Godhead most perfectly. And due to that, she now got the sole attention of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So from there we can see what actually is attracting Krishna the most is our attitude of worship. And that attitude is performed in the most perfect way by the damsels of Vrindavan, the gopis of Vrindavan, and the foremost of the gopis is Radharani. So in this way we can also see or understand that there are different grades of devotees, which are based on the intensity of their relationship with Krishna. But it's not understanding in a material way, where when something is better, then there is some grading. It has been explained that all the relations of the spiritual relations which are in the spiritual world, they're all perfect in itself. But the differentiation can be defined as perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. So in one way there is no difference, because on the spiritual platform everything is perfect. Still, there is a differentiation according to the intensity of the relationship. And this knowledge actually has been given very merciful to the most fallen conditioned soul of Kali Yuga by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as we know, is Krishna and Radha combined. And out of his causeless mercy, he came personally to this material world in order to exhibit and to show the living entities how to properly be engaged in the devotional service. And not only that, what in previous ages the perfection was just to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead as being Asama Murdva, meaning nobody is equal and nobody is superior, and that in that way be engaged in his service as his devoted servant. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually opened the treasure house of the spiritual world by blessing the most fallen souls of Kali Yuga with the highest understanding and the most intimate relationships of which an individual soul can have with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why it has been described by Rupa Goswami that Anarpita Chirim Chirat Koranaya Avatirna Kalo Samarpantam Unata Uchvalarasam Swabhakti Shriham, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has come in his golden form to give to the conditioned souls what has never been given before. And what is that? Unata Ujjvala Rasam, the most exquisite mellow of conjugal love, which is actually performed through him by devotional loving service. And this knowledge has been given very mercifully to the whole world by Srila Prabhupada through his International Society for Krishna Consciousness. What was only known or revealed formerly to a limited circle, even at Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, it was mainly proclaimed in Bengal and in Vrindavan, and naturally through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu while traveling to the different locations also in South India. But then very quickly it got forgotten and different deviations occurred. It was then revived by Bhaktivinoda Thakur and institutionalized by his highly elevated son, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and established in the Indian subcontinent. But even there it says most of the temples, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur established 64 temples. But most of them actually were in Bengal, Orissa. There were only, I think, about 3, 4, in Madras and in other places. But then Srila Prabhupada came, and due to the instruction of his spiritual master, he brought his knowledge of Krishna consciousness and the highest understanding of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings to the West. So now we should take full advantage and engage ourselves in the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and try to distribute that knowledge to whoever we meet. And in that way, take full advantage and get the blessings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is none other than Radha and Krishna. And through that, also, at one time, be able to be a recipient of this highest mellow. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Any comments, any questions? Perfect. Okay. Krantaraj, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
His Grace Govinda Prabhu ki jai.
ist einfach voll. Wie das happens?
I don't know, but he supplies to the Manipur Academy. And somebody told me that the academy takes all from him.
Thank you very much.
But I'm hoping it's the best quality for them.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Already now it's back. It looks beautiful. Thank you very much. Can I give you something?
No, your blessing.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Prabhu. Gut, immer noch sich, dass ich
Der Ding hat
wir werden das im Haus aufgekommen. Wir werden nicht irgendwie.
It's coming.
Coming?
Yes.
Sure.
Because the painter, she didn't finish on time.
Mhm.
And now the
Oh,
writing is coming.
Ah, okay.
It will be here by next week. I hope I
Ja,
finish.
jetzt hier noch etwas gesagt.
You already used it.
Der Hall is a bit too big.
You didn't measure?
Big side. No, I measured it on others languages. Seems a bit bigger.
Dass sie überhaupt nur kann, was zeigen.
But it's not
Wie
bad.
der ist genug.
Ja, so.
Das ist fast. Also heutzutage musst du aufpassen mit dem, oder Farbe, die weiß das sicher nicht.
Ja.
Then what's it?
Das Wort, ja, ein Wort ist zählt, wie man gesagt, sechs, so geschenkt. Wo man das gesagt hat. Und das ich habe ja gelernt, von wann eigentlich, wann ist das ein offizieller Begriff, du hast Kaffee verdient.
Ja, eben.
Das ist echt die Frage,
Ja, jetzt sagst du es, das kommt natürlich schon davon, es gibt ja Begriffe, oder es gibt National, und es gibt EU, und es gibt, in dem Sinn, hier ist es nicht so gemeint, sondern das sind die Stufen,
Maybe it's this without.
ich glaube, es gibt noch eine andere.
Die Stufen, das wir machen jetzt ja auch.
Kind of.
Ja, das ist ein bisschen Umstände, wo der Mann ist.
Nicht unbedingt. Also du musst wissen, dass EFTA ist Schengen, oder?
Ja.
Und Amerika ist nicht Schengen. So, und das Amerika wäre auch. Es hat wirklich etwas damit zu tun, weißt du, auch Singapur oder Indien. Und ja, das sind Somaliland oder auch Australien, die gehören auch. Das sind alles Leute. Es ist aber nicht so, es ist nicht dritte Weltland.
Because I was actually thinking
Es hat wirklich, weil es ist eigentlich ein Schengen.
Just out for copper.
Das ist wirklich nur ein
Weil dann get it for Kiriraja and for Kurma Default.
ein Term, weil wir haben ein spezielles Abkommen mit den Schengen States. Das die brauchen kein Visa und sie können arbeiten. Es geht um das. Ein Ami nicht. Ein Ami, ein Australier, ein Japaner, ein Singapurer, alle. Die kommen von, das ist, ich weiß nicht, dritte Welt. Es gibt noch nach.
It's just like.
Also weißt, es geht einfach darum, dass sie nicht erleichterte
And the
Arbeitsbedingungen
Kiriraja has gone to live, it got painted. And then.
wir leben nicht. Wir leben eigentlich das zu sagen. Es geht einfach darum, es geht mehr darum, für sie ist es, wie das habe ich auch schon gehört, es geht nachher auch um Quotas. Für die haben spezifische Quotas für.
Ja, dann der Copper Smile.
Ich glaube, es ist das dritte
It's so
Welt.
small you never even know what it's saying.
Begriff dritte Welt bezeichnet, die ursprünglich nicht geliefert haben.
I think now everything is copper, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ach, Schengen und EFTA mal doch sein, dass Amerika wir leben. Nur am Leid, wie schon Schengen.
Das das sind nicht Drittwelt, sondern Drittstaaten.
Eben,
Drittstaaten.
das habe ich gemeint. Die Drittwelt ist respektiert. Also weißt
Drittstaaten.
das sind die kein richtiges System haben.
Nicht EU-Staaten.
Das ist
Drittstaaten. Und das hat etwas mit
Visum. Ja. Das habe ich eben gemeint, weil ich das auch im Ding hatte. Es ist nicht ein Drittstaat, sondern es ist ein Drittstaat und das hat damit zu tun mit wie sind die Hindernisse oder wenn du reinholst fürs Arbeitsvisum. Das ist also eine Röhre.
Ja, es sind eben auch manchmal auch Länder, die gut Standing haben.
Genau, und sind Drittstaat. Das ist das, man das aber sie sind nicht so sicher, das hat sie nicht können sagen. Weil ich habe mich wirklich noch manchmal gefragt. Und sie hat ja immer gesagt, sie werden sich melden. Und sie so lange warten. Aber mir ist darum gegangen, weil ich etwas, was sollte ich ihnen auch sagen, wie ist es
Klar.
und so, du kannst ihnen einfach sagen, die Connection, die sie hatten, die haben die Mühe nicht auf sich nehmen, für Drittstaaten zu meinen.
Aber es ist eben auch, die Mühe ist selten, glaube ich, das andere ist die Wahrscheinlichkeit, dass sie die Bewilligung bekommen.
Ja, ja.
Oft gehen sie ja mit denen, die Arbeitsämter sagen ja zuerst, musst du in der EFTA-Zone schauen, wenn niemand findest. Und als kein Lehrer findest in der EFTA-Zone, jeder will in die Schweiz kommen.
Das ist es eigentlich. Also es läuft nachher wieder auf die Hindernisse auf, die sind einfach so aufgebaut. Und das ist ja genau so das Quota. Das habe ich aber auch mal gehört, oder? Das Quota für ein Drittstaatenländer ist extrem gering. Weißt du,
das sind Bereiche, wo es unbedingt ist. Zum
Ja.
Beispiel IT, wo es dann so viel bekommen.
Genau. Oder das ist nachher eigentlich auch wieder willkürlich, oder? Und es ist vom Staat geregelt. Also von der Schweiz selber, sie sagen, schau, wir haben das Quota und zwar über alle Branchen. Von Drittstaaten, die wirklich minim gering sind. Oder? Und dann erstes Mal kommen eben solche Vorzüge über, die in der IT sind, weißt, wo man wirklich braucht. Oder? Und die anderen, also die Hürden sind einfach so groß. Also ich sehe es eher so, sie wissen selber, es ist ein riesen Prozess, das zu machen und die Chance ist klein. Also
das ist der Grund.
Ausser eben, du hast Connections. Das ist auch für die Schweiz immer wieder. Und das ist auch ein bisschen Joch.
Ja.
Ich sehe die.
Nee, das ist
If you have time, this bite that goes through the door is again open. Can you fix it if you have time?
Ja, vergessen.
Thank you.
No.
Looks like he's being sarcastic.
There was just so much beeswax around Giriraj. Eyes and also took all this away. But the location is still the same.
Gurmati looks like he's very sarcastic and that's what
Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. Ram. Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram. Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram. Hare Krishna. Hare Ram. Krishna, Krishna. And Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna. Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna.
Sehen die Elefantenohren aus, nicht? Die Muckuls sehen ja Elefantenohren. Ja.
Die sind weiter unten.
They look like elephants with the muckuls. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not beautiful, I'm just
Krishna, Krishna.
nice.
But the ladies, they are very opulent.
Ja, it's Sunday.
So viele Blumen, so viele Geschenke, Turban, so groß.
Mommy, ein Kleid.
Mommy,
Hey God. Amar confused. In der Nahe,
Wieso liegt ihr da? Passt die Farbe pink zu den...
Nö, das ist immer so, die tun das nicht wässern.
Ja, wie setzen sie nicht? Farbe.
Farbe nicht gut.
Warum nicht? Ist nicht gut.
Was machen wir?
Aber man hat halt auch so eine Lampe.
What color do you want? Pico. Pink.
Yellow.
I like blue. Blue, huh?
Blue and blue.
you painted.
No.
Seriously.
I painted.
Listen.
Thank you, guys.
Oi.
Sympathy. I could understand you.
das war nicht so, gell? Positiv. Ja, so.
Komm jetzt. Wirklich? Ja. Der hat heute Geburtstag.
Brasilien.
Wer?
Brasilien.
Brasilien? Wow.
Das weiß man wirklich.
Die Sterne stehen gut in letzter Zeit.
Schmeckt Falafel. Falafel?
Yes.
Das ist ein Kitchen.
Yes. Just sit down about the left. Krishna, Krishna. Go on then. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna.